Hey everybody, Travis here, back with my sixth book review, Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is actually the current United States Vice President, serving alongside President Donald Trump. That is a big reason why I decided to purchase and read this book. Personally, my politics are to the right of the spectrum. I'm more conservative than I am liberal. Got nothing against the liberals, but that's just where I am personally, and was a reason why I purchased this book. The release date of Hillbilly Elegy was June 28th, 2016. The page length is 264 pages, and the full title is Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis. This book serves as the origin story of current Vice President J.D. Vance. And he starts this book by describing the community that he's from and who he is, which is a hillbilly. And the American hillbillies are descendants from the Scots-Irish, the Scottish-Irish immigrants from Europe who were the earliest settlers of the United States and were a big driver of where the United States is today. And these hillbillies were in the Appalachian Mountain region of the United States, which stretches from New York in the northeastern portion of the country all the way down to Mississippi in the southern portion. And this book was super entertaining. This story could have been alongside The Sopranos, alongside Breaking Bad, into like a 7-season, 10-episode each series on Netflix or something. Hillbilly Elegy was actually repurposed into a feature film on Netflix starring Glenn Close and Amy Adams. So people who read this book definitely saw that it could be a film or a TV show. Very interesting. And the characters, J.D. Vance's family, the type of household that he grew up in, Mama, which is his endearing name that he calls his grandmother on his mom's side, his uncles, his aunts. This family is super entertaining. Again, unfortunate childhood that J.D. Vance comes from, but still makes for a very entertaining story from start to finish. And looking at where J.D. Vance is now, reading this book, which again was released in 2016, you could, from the start, see that J.D. Vance is a man of great ambition. He has his sets set high in terms of what he wants to accomplish in life. And this first quote that I'm going to read really indicates his ambition. I'm not a senator, a governor, or a former cabinet secretary. I haven't started a billion-dollar company or a world-changing nonprofit. I have a nice job, a happy marriage, a comfortable home, and 2 lively dogs. Today, people look at me, at my job, and my Ivy League credentials, and assume that I'm some sort of genius. That only a truly extraordinary person could have made it to where I am today. With all due respect to those people, I think that theory is a load of BS. A little bit of reverse psychology from J.D. Vance, but it shows that even though he wasn't a senator or a governor or a cabinet official, that his mind was already thinking of those positions. And that undoubtedly had an impact on him eventually becoming who he is today, which is the vice president, the 50th vice president of the United States. This second quote of my top 3 really shows the crazy life that he lived and the constant sense of instability that he had in his life. In Ohio, I had grown especially skillful at navigating various father figures. With Steve, a midlife crisis sufferer with an earring to prove it, I pretended earrings were cool, so much so that he thought it appropriate to pierce my ear, too. With Chip, an alcoholic police officer who saw my earring as a sign of girliness, I had thick skin and loved police cars. With Ken, an odd man who proposed to Mom 3 days into their relationship, I was a kind brother to his 2 children. This quote indicates that there were father figures cycling in and out of his life at any given moment. Instability was a theme of his early childhood and really caused him a lot of grief when he was growing up. This last of my top 3 quotes is about his beloved Mama, his grandmother on his mom's side. And she was really the star of this book, really the strongest personality and the strongest willed person in this entire book. Mama hated everything about the nursing home and once asked me to promise that if she ever faced a permanent stay, I'd take her .44 Magnum and put a bullet in her head. Mama, you can't ask me to do that. I'd go to jail for the rest of my life. Well, she said, pausing for a moment to reflect, then get your hands on some arsenic. That way, no one will know. Mama was crazy, and unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, but really a driving force in J.D. Vance's life, a big inspiration to him and what he accomplished. And sad that she's not there with him now, but it was a huge influence. And another story is that she had 19 fully loaded handguns stashed in all different areas of her house, just in case someone threatened her or the people that she loved. She could put one in them, and then take them out and eliminate the threat. So she was really tough as nails, and that was a major character depicted in the book. J.D. Vance had a tough childhood. He went and he actually enlisted and became a United States Marine. He was part of the Marine Corps, and that was a big piece of his life that really allowed him to transition from a boy to a man. After that, he went to undergrad at the Ohio State University. He graduated in less than 2 years, which is insane, really a testament to his hard work. After that, he went to law school at Yale, and that's where he met his future wife, Usha, who is currently his wife and also the second lady of the United States. So that's awesome. And overall, this was an origin story. This is definitely not the last we're hearing from J.D. Vance. A lot of people consider him to be the front runner as president of the United States in 2028, and he is going to be a central figure within that race. That is my personal belief, and looking at his trajectory, it isn't a surprise to read this book, to learn about how hardworking he is. He has a great deal of ambition. He worked his way literally from nothing. And if I had to compare J.D. Vance to other similar political figures with a crazy trajectory, again, he's only 40 years old right now as the VP. I think of Theodore Roosevelt, who became the United States president in his early 40s. Same thing with John F. Kennedy in his early 40s. In the 1960s when he became president. And then Barack Obama just a little over a decade ago. All these men had extremely high ambition. Each step in their life was a stepping stone to that eventual United States presidency. And when I read Hillbilly Elegy, again, it is written 9 years ago, but you can see someone in J.D. Vance who really wants to make a name for himself and sees the sky as the limit in terms of the potential and what he can accomplish in this lifetime. Great book, tons of characters, so entertaining, very similar to the Sopranos or Breaking Bad in terms of all these different personalities that you meet throughout reading Hillbilly Elegy. It was very easy to read. The language was very colorful, and it was an entertaining book from the jump, from the first page all the way through till the end. If I had to give this book a review, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 stars. Super entertaining story, really educational in terms of learning about the American hillbillies, where they're from and what they're all about. The gap between 8.5 and 10 stars, I'm not sure I would have picked this book up if J.D. Vance wasn't the current vice president of the United States. That really had a major impact on me and why I picked this book up. But nevertheless, 8.5 out of 10 stars, really good book. I recommend it to anybody, regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum. But yeah, Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance, 8.5 out of 10 stars. Thanks everybody for watching. Follow me on Instagram, Travis D'Souza Quotes, and on X, Twitter, Travis D'Souza. I post really insightful and motivational quotes on those two platforms. And then like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps me grow this YouTube channel. I'm really enjoying releasing book reviews right now. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk soon. Until next time, bye.